The Washington Commanders at the Los Angeles Chargers. Jaden Daniels is playing in this game, I believe, or at least I think that's what the report was before last week's game, that he wasn't going to play in week 4, but the plan was for him to play in week 5. So I think we are getting him back for this game. Where do you want to start with this one, the Commanders or the Chargers?
So I think it's great that Daniels is back, and Marcus Mariota was really good in his stead. Daniels has been medically cleared, full practice today. He's going to start this week. But I think the Terry McLaurin injury and just in general, this Washington receiving core not really getting a whole lot done, especially after the catch. Their production in the passing game has really been on the quarterbacks making great throws, both Daniels and Mariota. But you look at the receiving grade, 20th in the NFL. They're 26th in yards after catch, 27th in explosive passes, and yet all of that despite having the 3rd highest average depth of target in the league. I think actually scaling this back a little bit and getting Deebo Samuel to work after the catch, I think a heavier incorporation of Jalen Lane in a more natural role for him after the catch would help too, because he's got an average depth of target around 12.5 yards. His last 3 seasons in college, they were all at about 7.5, and he likes to work after the catch and separate underneath. I just think you're seeing some inconsistency when it comes to this passing game. And again, the deep threat was supposed to be Terry McLaurin, and then he opens everything else up. If McLaurin is out, the windows get tighter. It gets harder to break tackles. Defenders get to you and close down that separation a little bit sooner. But I think Washington, this is a game where that 3rd highest average depth of target in the league is not going to help you, because there's very few teams on the same level as the Chargers defending downfield passes on 10-plus yard throws. They have the 3rd best coverage grade in the NFL. So I think work underneath, find space for guys like Samuel, Jalen Lane, Luke McCaffrey, Zach Ertz, find some ways for them to win after the catch and manufacture offense. The run game has still been pretty good for the Commanders with that rotation of backs that they have, but I just think missing Terry McLaurin, you have to go about this a different way, and you are not going to be able to take a bunch of deep shots downfield on this Chargers defense on Jesse Minter's zone coverage.
Yeah, obviously, the Chargers defense, kind of the way that you highlighted it there, is an obvious talking point. How they're going to, make up for losing Joe Alt now on the offensive line as well. It is a major talking point in this game, although Marion Hampton was able to still play well last week with that being the case. But you know what? Can we talk about Quentin Johnston here? I want to talk about Quentin Johnston 4 weeks into the season, because I got some Quentin Johnston stats that might shock you, because they shocked me, okay? So 4 weeks into this season, he is 3rd in receiving yards amongst all receivers with 337. He is 3rd in receiving touchdowns with 4. He is 4th in catches of 20 or more yards with 4. He is 4th in contested catches with 6. He is 8th in yards after catch with 117. He has less drops than both Keenan Allen and Ladd McConkey on the season. And he's 28th overall in receiving grade amongst wide receivers with 50 or more snaps. So not the highest receiving grade in the league, but Quentin Johnston is playing well. And he's a major part of this offense right now. He is not just the afterthought. He is not just the bonus of, if we get one big Quentin Johnston catch in this game, we'll be happy. He's a major part of what the Chargers are doing right now, and he's going up against a Commanders secondary that has continuously struggled no matter who they have gone up against. Their corners and their safeties have really struggled this season. Maybe it'll look a little bit better this week if the Commanders can get pressure on the pocket and pressure against Justin Herbert. But to this point, they have just not been able to slow down anybody. And I really do feel like it is just another week for Quentin Johnston to continue to play well. So I wanted to shout him out, because the narratives with him of not being able to catch, can't separate, can't produce, all this kinds of stuff, the bust word has been thrown around with Quentin Johnston. Obviously, his career did not get off to the start that they wanted it to. But here this season in 2025, he is a legitimate producer for this team in this passing offense. And so I wanted to make sure that I highlighted that, because I do think that he is a big X factor in this game because of how much the Commanders' secondary group has struggled. Ultimately, I have the Chargers winning this game. I just cannot trust the Commanders on defense right now. 31-17 is the final score that I have here with the Chargers winning it.
I have it closer than that. I have it actually 24-21 Chargers. I am concerned about the Chargers' offensive line, and Washington's run defense has been pretty good, even if the coverage hasn't been. I think they keep the Commanders in front of them on defense. The secondary for the Chargers is obviously fantastic, but it's a great call on Johnston, and especially the way that he can make vertical plays downfield. His size and speed, theoretically, is a perfect match with Justin Herbert and his big arm, right? So I think I do have the Chargers. I like them at home. I think the Commanders, without McLaurin and with the lack of help they have in the secondary, it's a problem. If Justin Herbert has time back there, then I think you're really going to get some deep shots downfield. One-on-one, Johnston against Lattimore on the outside. McConkey going to get Mike Sainer still down there in the slot. Look for a better week from him than he had last week against the Giants. I like the Chargers in this game. I do think it's going to be competitive, and anytime you have Jaden Daniels back on the field, you can win a ball game. But you're right, that Commanders defense is a real concern.